So I'm gonna try to remain as calm as possible while recording this video because honestly, I was kind of over it after about midway through the second quarter. I was pretty much over it, but this is my first ever post game video for the New York Giants on YouTube, and a hell of a way to break into it. The irony in me sarcastically saying we're gonna win 63-0 against the Dallas Cowboys, only to lose 40-0 against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm trying my best to stay calm. Right off the bat, I want to say horrible performance all the way around for everybody. Nobody's exempt from this shit. It was a fucking bloodbath out there. We didn't even make them beat us. Like, we fucking spotted them 16 just straight off the rip. Like, it was not even a thing where we were in the game. Now, I want to say this shit first. The typical fan of football goes straight to the fucking quarterback when teams lose, especially when teams lose like this. I think that's lazy analysis. I think it's people that just don't know the game, or they weren't even watching the game, paying attention to it as closely as they probably should have been. But nonetheless, this shit happens far too often. I think quarterbacks get way too much credit for wins, and I think they get far too much credit for far too much blame for losses. Now, with that being said, while the game was going on, I saw a lot of people talking about, "Oh, get Daniel Jones out of here. I can't believe you gave him all this money," and just all the stupid shit that you probably would expect from niggas who really ain't paying attention to the fucking game. Now, let's walk through this real quick. I want to start like this. The first drive of the game, we looked pretty good up front, opening lanes for Saquon Barkley to run. Nobody can argue with that. We ran the ball pretty much the whole way down the field, so much to where we got to about the 7-yard line, and this is when it turned around. We're on the 7-yard line. Andrew Thomas immediately gets a false start, pushes back 5 yards. After that, our rookie second round center, John Michael Schmitz, JMS, for those who, refer to him as that, snaps the ball on the very next play, 15 yards, 10 to 15 yards past Daniel Jones, where Daniel Jones has to just dive on the ball and preserve the possession. He dives on the ball, and at this point, we're already we're back to about the 30-yard line. Remember, I said we were damn near in the end zone. At that point, that possession is pretty much over. I don't give a fuck what quarterback you have. If your offensive line is making those type of mistakes, it's pretty hard to dig your way up out of that. So what happens? Okay, we eventually get stopped on that possession. We go to kick a field goal. The field goal is blocked. Dallas scoops up the ball, runs in the fucking end zone, and we're immediately down by a touchdown, right? That's 6 points because they missed the extra point. Somehow, Daniel Jones, I don't know, maybe that's Daniel Jones' fault. I don't know. Okay, so second possession. He gets sacked once or twice on the very next possession, I believe, right? We end up having to punt the ball, obviously, on that possession. We're so far behind the fucking sticks, it's hard to make that up. Once again, down in distance is not favorable if you're losing yards. If you're losing that many yards, down in distance is not going to be in your favor. This is common football shit. I'm not saying anything that the average football fan, well, Never mind. Yeah. So the third possession, now we're down 9. I mean, yeah, now we're down 9 because they kicked the field goal on that possession after that, right? So I guess that was Daniel Jones' fault for letting the Dallas's offense drive down the field and get 3 more points. So third possession, Daniel Jones drops back, pass to Saquon. It's a bang bang play. He gets hit, ball bounces up in the air. Dallas catches it, runs it in for another touchdown. We're down 16 points. And this counts as an interception for Daniel Jones. The ball was popped out of Saquon's hands. Dallas runs the fucking ball in. They get a touchdown, and it's somehow Daniel Jones's fault once again. So now we're down 16 points. Daniel Jones literally made his first mistake of the game with us being down 16 points. Running towards the sideline, he tried to force some shit down the field. No, I mean, but at this point, we're down 16, and he's probably trying to just make a play, trying to make something happen. He throws a fucking interception. That was a hell of a play by Gilmore to catch that too. Like we're not gonna just gloss over that. Like that was a hell of a play. So that shit happens, and yeah, they go down and score again. So we literally went the first 3 possessions of the game. But Daniel Jones didn't make any mistakes. The 4th possession he did. So by that time it was already over. But anyway, that's just to kind of illustrate how stupid people sound when they blame the fucking quarterback for everything that happens to a football team. It's the most like novice shit that someone who follows the sport can say. And I'm not absolving Daniel Jones of any wrongdoing in this game. I'm not absolving anybody on the team for that matter, because they all look like shit. They all did. They all did. So, the finger pointing is really pointless. I mean, you could point to a couple people that really, really, really are on the edge of bust. Evan Neal. Now, Evan Neal, he probably had the worst game of his career last year in this same exact game, Giants versus Cowboys at MetLife Stadium. This nigga had his worst fucking game as a pro last year. He follows it up this year with doing probably worse than that game. It was so alarming. Like some of the plays, he's getting blown by. Some of the plays, he's getting hands on guys, but they're still going through him. Just awful, man. Like, and this guy is a first round pick last year, along with Kayvon Thibodeau, who's also greatly underperforming. So it's really hard to put in words how a team can add to the offensive line and get worse. Like that shit is mind-boggling. That happens to nobody else but us. We had a bad to below average line last year. We added to it, drafting a center in the 2nd round, JMS. Neal, another year older, supposed to be, more experienced and improved. And from the looks of game 1, it's looking like Shane completely missed on the Evan Neal pick. But it's only his, like I said, first game of the 2nd year, of his career. So I'm trying to give this nigga some grace and hope he'll snap out of whatever the fuck is going on with him. But I gotta tell you, I'm fucking concerned. And the defense was, they started off okay, but I think as the score got, the O-line kept making mistakes and we were giving the ball back so fast. I think they just gassed. I think they gassed out. I think Deonte Banks ended up getting hurt. He didn't play bad tonight at all. Trey Hawkins, he had a what he did tonight would classify as a bad game. He had the big PI penalty. Well, we were already down, like I said, a couple scores by then. So I mean, that shit was cosmetic. to me at that point. Like Trey Hawkins had a couple penalties. So I'm not really too concerned with those guys. I think, like I said in my season preview video, I think they're gonna grow together. So you have to give corners time. Like young corners, that's the hardest position to come into the NFL and be good at right away. So I'm not too overly concerned with those guys. But Kayvon Thibodeau, Okereke was kind of invisible tonight. I think I might have heard his name one time. Dexter Lawrence, he didn't do much, but he got doubled a lot too as well. So, I think he's like a main focus of every offensive line that we're going to play against. So somebody has to help him out. Shit. Nobody did anything, man. And I think I don't even know what else to say. I think going into week 2, I want to see us come out that first drive the same way we came out the first drive tonight. I want to see us running the ball because it looked like they were opening lanes for Saquon early. We just weren't able to sustain it. Like shit went off the rails. As soon as that block field goal happened and they ran that shit in like that, like shit went completely off the rails. It went completely off the rails. And I want to say, Brian Dable, I like Coach Dable. I'm not going to completely shit on Brian Dable, but this is the absolute worst game that he's coached since he's been with the Giants, and I mean that shit wholeheartedly. There was a lot of things, a lot of decisions I didn't like tonight, mainly keeping your quarterback who you just gave all this fucking money to in the game down 40 points in the fourth quarter in rainy conditions to get teed off on by Dallas linebackers and linemen. Inexcusable. Why? Now, if he gets hurt, the season's really fucked. There was absolutely no reason for him to be in that game past the third quarter. There was no reason. We weren't about to come back. The game was decided. There's no goddamn reason to have Daniel Jones in the game at that point. What are you doing? This shit was pitiful, man. Like, it was real pitiful, bro. Like, it was horrible. Like, that game. And the only reason I'm not like yelling and shit right now is because I probably did it way too much in the first half of the game. I was pretty much at peace with the L by the time the third quarter rolled around. I was already at peace with the shit. So I'm able to make this video a little calmer. But yeah, this is a hell of a way to break into the post game shit on YouTube. I tell you that shit. And I've been a Giants fan since fucking 1994, 93, around that time, about when I was young enough to actually know what the fuck is going on with the game, like watching the Dave Brown led Giants that everybody knows was fucking atrocious, right? The Dave Brown Giants, if you old enough, that's the way the season going right there. My filter don't even want to be a part of this video. But like I said, the Dave Brown Giants I've been watching since then, and this loss tonight is a top 5 worst performance for this fucking team that I've witnessed in my lifetime. I'm not over exaggerating. None of that. It was that bad. It was really that bad. Like, I'm disappointed in all these dudes, man. Like I said, Daniel Jones, I don't agree with him getting a lion's share of the blame for the night, but he ain't off the hook. Saquon ain't off the hook. Jalen Hyatt not off the hook dropping passes. Who else? I mean, you can't even put nothing on the receivers. Them niggas didn't even give a chance. They didn't even get a chance to get down the field before their quarterback was getting jumped on like a fucking lion. Hyenas jumping on lions, a lions jumping on however the circle of life go. That's what was happening to Daniel Jones. I'm starting to get angry, so I'm gonna try to wrap this shit up. Yeah, I just want to see fucking improvement next week, to say the least. Like all across the board, niggas, receivers running wide open, that weak ass soft zone on 3rd and short. Wink Martindale wasn't as aggressive as he normally is. I don't know if that was because he saw something that prevented him from being as aggressive as he usually is, or what the deal was, but the shit was brutal. It was ugly. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this shit up. 0-1. I picked them to go 12-5. Still sticking with my pick. I mean, they can't possibly get any fucking worse than they were tonight. So I mean, I guess we'll see improvement next week by default. That's pretty much it, man. Just highly fucking disappointed. Just do better. Just do fucking better. That's all I gotta say.